What? And we're back.
We're back, baby.
Here in the Cozy Show, in the Cozy Corner.
Yep.
You're here with your host, Jaime Arnellis, and your co-host,
Christopher Mariscal.
Wow, it is good to be back. Every time I'm in here, it's good to be back.
Nice at home, just it's cozy, comfy. I'm gonna put this on, dude. I'm fucking cold.
Quick.
Dude, I'm cold, man. I just want to show up the Hyperfly shirt real quick.
That is a nice shirt.
I'm saying, can't teach art.
You really can't. It's like when a penis head. It's like just thinking. It's like when a penis head goes back into the foreskin. It's
I don't know
it's just
because
so
I don't have
cozy.
foreskin.
God damn.
I know. I've seen it. I've seen plenty.
You've seen it
In
now.
my day. You know what I'm saying?
I wanted to talk about the story that I was thinking of on the drive here.
Wow.
For once.
I
Right?
literally just asked you, do you have anything to talk about? You're like, not really.
That was the only thing I have in my mind.
Oh, okay.
So
Perfect.
don't expect anything after this.
Blow your load right off the bat. Just like always. Just kidding.
Speaking of blowing loads. So
Oh, wow.
I wanted to talk about my early experience orgasming.
Is
Right?
this worth losing our monetization for? Just kidding. We don't get paid for shit.
Yep.
All right. Not for long, though.
Okay, so everyone kind of always remembers, or you've been asked do you remember the first time you jerked off, or do you remember I used to remember it just being blanks before it was anything,
Yeah.
and I never had those stories, one because I don't really remember, but two because the way I was introduced to orgasming, and this is a thought that I've had, and I'll just push it back down deep in the corners of my brain.
No. Is this another gay one?
No, but I just remember being young, right? So I don't remember what time period. It was just POV.
There's nothing wrong with being gay. Anyways.
Yeah, there's just POV, so I can't remember what I look like, so I don't know what the age is. But I remember just in the shower, in my bathtub, right? So I'd always take baths,
Yeah.
I fucking love baths. I haven't taken one in
Still?
a while.
Yeah.
No, in a while. But I used to love them,
I don't think I've ever heard of you taking a bath. Well,
Yeah.
Maybe in high school, an Epsom salt bath.
Mhm. No, but beforehand, before that,
Yeah.
I just loved baths.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that I would use the shower head, and I would put it on my penis, and I would get it at this perfect angle, where it was just it felt so good,
Yeah.
and I would just stay there,
Yeah.
and I would just keep doing it, and then I would just kind of feel this and then I would finish, really, and I would come, and in my head I didn't even know. It was in the water, so I wouldn't know.
So
Maybe
you
it
don't
was
know
probably
if
it was probably blanks,
yeah,
or a little
Or
bit,
a
but
little
it was thinking about the sensation. It was orgasming.
it was, yeah, no doubt.
And at the time, I just didn't even know what it was. I just knew it felt good.
yeah,
And it's just such an odd way, because that's not even jerking off. I would do that shit all the time before I knew what jerking off was, and I would use the shower
all the
head.
time. So every time in the shower?
Yeah, in the bathtub, my mom would give me you're going to go bath for a while, so I have free
Wait,
reign
so you'd be in the bath with the shower head spraying on you?
on my penis.
And nobody heard that. They're like, why is there water running when he's in the bath?
I guess maybe they just thought I was playing with the shower head, And I remember
That's water conscious there. You're saving some good water. You're in a full fucking bath spraying the shower head.
it's overfilling just like you get my nut. I'm yes. Man, but I just can't believe that, because it's you would expect that from a girl.
Yeah.
A girl would do
That's
that
the
totally.
first thing I
you
thought
know?
of. Is you're
That's- I think
basically
that's
using
why-
a wand, on your penis.
I can't even do that first. I can't even do that the common way. So that Jesus Christ, those spikes are going crazy.
Yeah, wow.
Hold the mic back.
Sorry, guys.
So yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there, because that's just a crazy story. Do you remember when you were the first few times or anything?
Dude, so many stories and things I wanted to say popped in my head. I don't know if I discovered the shower head thing on my own, but what's funny is one of my friends, when I was pretty young, like probably around that age. I mean, I don't know, like 10 years old
Yeah.
or whatever. I think I was already jerking off by the time I was 10.
Well.
I think we were both already jerking off, me and this guy. And coincidentally, it's the guy from...
The poop story?
No. It's the guy from, like, the episode where we talked about our...
Gay experiences?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's call a spade a spade. It's that guy. When we were kids. And I remember I think he put me onto that. He was like, dude, I think... Okay, this makes it so much more bizarre. It's like... The first time I ever went to San Diego was with him when we were kids. Uh-huh. Oh, man, this might be giving too much away.
No.
That's a lot of context right there.
I have no idea.
We went to San Diego when we were, like, kids, and we stayed at, like, his grandparents' house. And I remember we got there, I think, like, one of the first things we did, we got there, like, late at night, and we were going to shower, right? Not together, but, you know, we were going to shower.
He wasn't there yet.
Not yet. And... I remember he was like, oh, dude, like, when I used to always use the shower head in the shower. Like, it just feels so good. It has this one setting.
Yeah, where it's... It would be like the 6 or 3, like, boom, like hard pressure water. Oh, my God. Take me back to those days.
You haven't felt something since then.
I really
It's
haven't.
been a long time. Oh, since you busted one like that. But yeah, he was like, dude, there's just one setting, and like, oh, it just feels so good. Just spray it like right in your dick. And I was like, okay. And I think I tried it, and it felt pretty good, but I didn't like climax from it. And I think that's probably because I was already like jerking off. And I feel like once you start jerking off, it's just like, what's gonna compare to that, you know?
Dude, it was like a science, man, because it had to be like the perfect angle, you know? And it would just have to hit it at the right spot, and you would just be staring at it.
Was it the spot like underneath the head, like the little connective, the frenulum?
I honestly, I can't remember. I just remember it would look weird with my foreskin because it's just like so much pressure, and then the foreskin would just fold on the water, you know. And I remember it being like because I would take hot baths and I would be sweating, you know, because I'd been in there for so long.
But it's not even enjoyable anymore. You're just like, fuck.
And it would just perfect, you know. What is it? He's like, to the minute detail, it was perfect.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything down to the last minute details.
I remember there was one time, I think I was probably like an early teenager, like 12, 13, something like that. And I remember I remember I had jerked off already, climaxed everything. And as a man, like if you're going to jerk off twice in a row, it's a workout, dude. Like that second one is so hard if you don't give yourself, you know, at least like 10, 20 minutes minimum. And I remember I went back to back. Like, I don't know what possessed me to do that, but I was like, dude, I'm doing it, you know? And that second one took me, like, so long. And it was in the middle of summer when it was, like, so goddamn hot. And it was a 2-story house at the time, my old house. And my room was on the 2nd story, and it was so fucking hot in there. And I think I had the blanket, like, here, you know, just in case. And, dude, I was just... Oh, man, like, I was going hard for so long just trying to get there, you know? Like, dude, you have nothing left in the tank, like, when you go back to back. And I think I had finally, like, nutted. I was like, God damn. And I, like, cleaned up or whatever. And I think I had the blanket back on. And then my mom came in, like a minute or two after I had finished. And I was sweating. Like, laying in bed sweating. And I remember her asking me, like, are you okay? You're really sweaty.
She comes
I was like, yeah, it's just hot in here. And I'm sure it was so musty in there. Like, bro, can you imagine, you know?
Just all your pores are just open,
God,
you know?
It was terrible. And I think I remember a few times, too, like, either my mom or my dad, I don't clearly remember, but they would walk in and be like, what's that smell? And I'm sure it was just like... It's just boys are like, I think teenage boys just smell in general, and like I was always skating and shit, so I probably never like showered, you know, super often. Nothing changes, you know. But yeah, I'm like, I don't know. Who knows if it was just me jerking it and then like everything mixed, you know.
I feel like there's definitely like that sin smell of like when you after you jerk off, like, you know. I don't think there's anything more gross from when you like have jerked off for more than like 20 minutes. It's hot. You just needed that nut.
Midsummer.
And then you finish and you're just like in your sweat, you know? It's like musty as hell. Your windows aren't open.
Sometimes your ass is sweaty. You get out of bed and there's like a fucking line of ass sweat on the sheet.
God.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, it's really bad, dude. I haven't done that in a while though.
That's what that's what we're capable of, you know?
Just in case you guys were wondering, that's the power we have.
I had
Damn, no way. We talked about jerking off for 10 minutes.
Damn. Or I'm about to go a little longer. So I got one more. I remember vaguely, like when I started getting into jerking off, I think the first time I ever jerked off was in like, I want to say 3rd grade, but it might have been 4th grade. That is so early too. Like, goddamn. But I remember my friends talking about it. Like, you would just talk about like jacking off. Yeah. And then I just knew the motion. Like, you know, you'd be like thinking it was the funny shit when you're young. And I remember like thinking one night, like, how do you actually do that? You know, because you knew the motion and the word, at least I did. And I was like, huh. And then I think I tried it. Well, I definitely tried it because I'm thinking of that story. But I remember laying in my bed. And the crazy thing is I still had a nightlight in my room. Did you ever have a nightlight?
Yeah, I was scared. At night. I mean, I slept with my mom for a while, so, you know.
How long did you sleep with her?
15 years, I think. Around 14 years.
Was it because there was like...
There was no other room,
okay.
so, you know.
That was my choice. Like, okay. Sorry.
None of us, you know, some of us didn't have a room.
I'm sorry, dude. That was a bad...
No, I'm just kidding.
That was a bad tree for me to bark up, you know?
You know what they say.
But I remember with my nightlight on, like laying in bed, and I just started like jerking it, right? And I didn't know to like grab the skin, like so you could go up and down. I was just very loosely like, give me your finger like this. I was just very loosely like I wasn't grabbing the finger.
Yeah.
And so I'm just chafing the skin like so hard. And I remember
up against the wall.
Dude, yeah, bad. And then I remember climaxing, and I remember it being like so powerful. I remember my vision like got blurry. My vision,
it's like a flashbang,
dude. Yes, I remember my vision like unfocused for the whole orgasm, and then I like when I finished, I was like, jeez, like, dude, life altering, you know, like a new realm unlocked. It was insane.
Your eye color changed, your hair color changed.
I got muscles all of a sudden. I remember the next day, my penis was chafed like so bad. Like it was like so sensitive and like raw. Like not raw, like bloody or anything, but just so tender because I had like rubbed it so hard. Like if you're gonna do it like that, you need like lotion or lube or something, you know. And I remember like being at school like so uncomfortable because it's just so like tender, rubbing on my underwear and shit. And I remember telling myself like I'm never doing that again. And then I don't think I did it for like a whole year. Like it was a long time. And then I tried it again, I think in like 4th grade. And then I think that's when I learned like, oh, you need to like grip it. And then it was just
your friend showed you.
No, you know what's funny? Okay, bleep this for sure. Jaime editing, bleep this. Yeah. When we were like kids, which is actually around this age when I discovered how to actually do it. I remember he would like, cause he was older than me, right? Yeah. And we were homies. Like we would hang out all the time. I think he was like 3 or 4 years older than me. And I was like 9 years old at this point. So he was probably like, 12, 13. And I think he would just ask me like, hey, did you ever like jerk off? And I was like, I don't know. I was probably like, a little bit or whatever. And I remember he was like, have you ever seen what cum looks like? This is so disgusting. And I was like, no. And then I remember he like jerked off in the corner of the room.
Oh my God.
And then he came on top of his dresser. And then,
what is going on?
And then he was like, here.
And he's like, lick it. Chris.
I didn't watch him jerk off.
No
though.
way.
I swear
What
I
did you
didn't watch.
do? Play video games?
I was like watching TV. He was like, hold on. And then it was like
TV,
probably like
can I leave? He's like, no, give me a second. Just let me see your shirt. Let me smell
Like,
something.
you stay there if you know it's good for you.
He's like, come real quick. Let me show you something, boy.
He's fucking like a dog that just peed in the house. He like shoves my face into it.
He's like, you want to know what it looks like? You want to know what it tastes like?
Oh my god,
That's awful,
Man,
dude.
Dude, tell
How
me
did
that
he do
story.
it on
like,
top
this
of a
is-
dresser?
This is borderline, you know.
How did he go?
Okay, the dresser was like, it was short. The dresser was like waist high, and then it had like a big mirror on the back. But yeah, I remember he nutted, and I remember looking back on it, thinking like, this is a little weird, you know, like this is a new. I've never done anything like this before, you know.
You're not at home anymore.
Yeah. And the nasty part is I remember he just left it there. Like
What?
he never cleaned it up. Like he just left it. And like it was a sleepover. It was at night, you know? And then I think the next day, like I think it was just dry. Like it was just like a white spot. It was so
He
disgusting.
has to scrape it off now.
And I remember it was really clear. Like we had to have lost so many viewers. Like,
know,
no
please.
way people are still listening.
I hope
right?
not. I hope no one in the jiu-jitsu
I
community
know.
knows.
Fuck. Nobody's want to roll with me after this.
Seriously.
Oh man, I've seen some things, you know.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Yeah, but I remember it was like really clear. It wasn't like, you know, it didn't have like that white tint to it
Uh-huh.
that it does now. So like, wow, that just shows our age, you know. Like
Yeah, you were young.
young,
You
know?
were purified. You were
It's-
pure before that. You know.
That's fucking awful, man.
Why did he want to show you? I'm so curious now. You know, they just be like, "Oh, you haven't seen it? Like, here it is."
And it's crazy because
But
this,
didn't
this-
you jerk off? So haven't you seen it?
I think I'm shooting blanks still.
You're like, what is that?
Yeah,
That's
I
probably
remember being
why.
like, whoa, you know.
This is what we're capable of? Are you a superhero?
What do you mean? That's probably why.
That's probably why he did it. Like, oh, you haven't. Really
Oh yeah, I
seen
think
it.
he asked me. I was like, no, I haven't seen it. And he's like, well,
Mm.
hold on, I got something for you. You know?
He's like, give me a second.
He's
He's like, kiss my neck.
And it's funny because this guy we're talking about, like, he is so, like, you would never guess that. So, cut that.
Cut that.
All right, we're back. Fuck, I was gonna say something else about him.
Please don't.
But it was funny. Oh, the funny thing is, he called me the other day, literally like a week ago. He called me out of the blue. I had just gotten off work and I answered it, and he's like, "Hey, dude, I have a question for you." And I was like, "Yo, what's up?" He's like, "Are you and Jaime gay?"
Oh,
And I
shit.
was like, "No." And then he was like, "Oh," he's like, my brother-in-law was like watching your podcast or maybe seeing the clips or something, and he was like hella convinced like you guys are gay, you know, just because of like the sus things we do. And then he's like, you know, it's cool if you are, but like I just thought I'd ask, you know. And I'm like, huh, like, that's interesting coming from you, you know. Given, you know,
You
the
like,
things-
if I said yes, would you say yes?
But yeah, you want to talk about that a little bit? How people think we're like,
Yeah, I mean, we talked
Sexual
about it, I think,
content.
a few times on the pod, but
yeah,
it's just like a common, you know. And hey, I'm not shocked.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. To be
Never
honest.
am I shocked. I'm always like, dude, honestly, I get it. You know?
I get it.
understand.
The funny thing is when we went to the Buffalo Black Brotherhood
Oh
banquet,
yeah.
BBB, the jiu-jitsu banquet. Kalani, our guest who was on pod number 35. That's his gym, and he was there, and he was like, I think we went inside because there's a dance floor outside, and we went inside the restaurant to like get some water or something.
And we had been dancing the whole night.
Yeah, the whole night. And then Kalani comes like inside the restaurant. He was like, "Why the fuck aren't you guys dancing? Get the fuck out there!" And we are like, "All right." So we started like walking to the door to go to the dance floor outside. And he turns around to like all the other dudes in the restaurant, and he was like, "Even the gay motherfuckers are going to dance. Why the fuck aren't you guys dancing?"
I was like,
I was
God.
like, Jesus. And then he asked us outside. He was like, "Are you guys gay?" But it was serious.
Yeah.
And we're like, "No." And he's like, "All right." He's like, "I fucking love you guys." You know?
Yeah,
I was
he's so
like,
cool, man.
yeah. I don't think he would care if we were gay. It was
Oh yeah,
just like-
definitely. We're definitely here between rows though. Yeah.
Oh,
This
yeah,
gas
like-
motherfucker's being your ass.
Yeah, exactly.
He
Dude,
literally said that.
imagine. We should claim it just so it's like when we do win, he
We
can
have
be like-
something, you know.
Yeah.
We're like, we're those guys. We're those guys that
something.
like guys, you know. We're the gay killers.
I
Wait,
had
not,
a little.
not the gay killers.
Oh.
We're the gay killers.
I had a little story I wanted to tell. It gets a little more PG here, so that's the good thing.
Thank God.
You know what's funny? Actually, going back to the rated R stuff.
Gosh, we're almost there. We're almost on the light.
It's just so funny thinking of the shower head thing because you have it like that.
And I was thinking like, bro, I remember getting like hard and like I didn't stroke.
Did you know what hard like?
Yeah, because I didn't stroke it right, but you know when you like you make your dick move like you tense it up though.
You flex
like
it. Yeah.
You flex it, right?
It's like,
That's what I would be doing at the same time at the shower head. And I would just keep kind of going back and forth. And that was kind of like my stroking, you know?
Yeah.
And it would just be so good.
well, that's good. Like that's what happens when you nut.
Yeah.
Tenses up and you're like training yourself.
Yeah, it was interesting.
It's very interesting. It is such a weird thing. Like you don't even know what it is. You just know it feels
And
good.
I don't even
and you don't even know what's wrong. You know?
I don't
You're
even
just
think
like,
I told
good.
anyone, but I like, so it's like weird because like, at some level, like, why wouldn't I share that with someone?
Yeah.
Because I don't really think it's bad. I wonder if maybe I did know like something sus. Who knows?
I know because you don't talk about it. I remember like when, like vaguely, I remember when I think like my sex drive kind of started as like a kid. Just because I remember thinking about like naked women. Like I remember just thinking like, I want to see boobs. But I didn't know why. I was just like, that seems really nice. Like, and I would just imagine like women naked, like I would see like, but it was always like mature women, like probably like my mom's friends or something.
Dude, Chris loves MILFs. He loves girls with big boobs, and it's like it should be studied. Honestly,
yeah,
like
some kind of like
he's
Freudian,
definitely those like like just like those 90s, 80s babies that are like, wow, women with big boobs, like he loves them,
like motherly figures, Dude, I have to like hook up with an older woman or something, or like, dude, I would love to be a sugar baby, and just like just have a woman like take care of me, In San Diego, imagine we get our own and like she cooks for us and stuff.
We
and,
only
like,
have to pay like half rent,
like she
please.
sets up the pod studio every time, she clears out
We
the
make sure she has to
phone.
wear an apron all around,
Yeah, but like just butt cheeks in the back. God damn it. But the last thing I was gonna say. It's just funny, like the shower head, because like we know a girl, and she was talking about like when she first discovered like the concept of pleasuring yourself. She was in a pool, and she was like on the edge of the pool where there was like a jet coming out of the wall, and she would be like on the edge of the pool like this, just chilling, and the jet would be like hitting the clitoris, and it would like she knew it felt good, so she would just stay there.
I just can imagine.
I know.
I can just imagine
her just like
yeah,
a little
and
girl.
She looks like she's thinking she's so smart, like no one notices.
Hey, everybody knows. Like,
Everyone thought it was weird,
right? I saw this TikTok too. It was saying like when girls ride bikes, they get the same kind of sensation. Like I guess sometimes like if you're sitting a certain way, yeah, like you feel, yeah, exactly. And I'm like, that's crazy. I never would have known that.
Because you never get an accidental stroke.
Yeah, yeah, as a guy, like, it doesn't really happen.
I think the only thing that would be close to that is like when you're really hard and your jeans are really tight and you kind of like flex it against your jeans.
Yeah,
you're like, I'm so sorry, guys.
I know. And it's crazy because I had like another kind of story along these lines, and I don't even know if I should tell it.
Just go.
Maybe later in the pod. Let's give a little break. It's not like a kid one. It's a more recent one.
Okay, good.
After the last podcast we did in Tracy, the one with the jiu-jitsu girls, we were driving from Tracy to Ripon back to Jaime's place, and we wanted to stop to eat, so we decided to go to In-N-Out, and we went through the drive-thru like separately. We were in our own cars. The longest goddamn drive-thru ever, dude. It was fucking terrible. It was like COVID again. Like pissed. I think it was like 45 to an hour. Like,
oh yeah.
It didn't even look that long. It just took for fucking
it took
ever.
forever, but it didn't even get to the street.
And it was like a double lane drive-thru, so I think that's why. It looked short, but it was like double the cars, And we fucking waited and waited and waited and waited. And while we were waiting, like I'm at a standstill in the drive-thru. So I was like doing stuff on my laptop. So we just filmed the pod. So I was like putting the audio and the video recordings onto like our storage hard drive thing. And I had realized, I don't know if you guys noticed, but in the last pod, there was kind of like a ringing sound in the background of the audio. And that's when I realized that had happened. I was like, fuck. Like, and then immediately, like in the drive-thru, I'm like Googling like how to fix like background, like buzz, like all this shit, trying to figure it out, stressing. I was hella pissed. And like all this time I'm doing this at the drive-thru, I was next to the thing where you order, you know, the little speaker thing, and I just didn't order because I was on my phone, like, so fucking preoccupied.
Really?
And it wasn't until I was like 2 car lengths like past that I was like, fuck, because I was getting up to the window and I was like, shit, like, and I'm imagining the person like, hello, hello, like,
Yeah. And like it fucks up their order. Like,
yeah,
the order
because
of
I got
things.
to the window and I just had this like stupid smile on my face and I was so embarrassed. Did she know? And I just had this look on my face like I was so embarrassed. And then she didn't know because when I pulled up, she's like, "You have the double with it." Like hella like long ass order. And I was like, I was happy there. I was like, I forgot to order. Like, I'm sorry, I was distracted. I didn't order.
She's like, "Oh, you're the dumbass."
She's actually cool with it. She was like, "Oh, okay." And then she's like, "Let me see if you can order now." And then she had to like ask somebody, and then he'd come back, and then it was a whole thing. And we had already been there for so long, and Jaime was in front of me, and then he fucking. I remember you even texted me, and you're like, "Are you okay?"
Oh, dude, because what happened was, I'm driving on my way home from the In-N-Out. I haven't been having my charger because I've been taking it out, and I need that charger. Like I'm always charging my phone, you know. And my phone
Charging
was
it right now, and it's recording.
yeah, literally. And my phone was at like 5%. It was like 7%, you know, during the drive-thru. And I was like, "Fuck, do I use it? Do I not? Do I use it?" And I looked at the directions, and it was literally like one right for the Yosemite, and then right at Ripon Road, and then you're good. You know,
That's it.
Like that's it.
And
I was
then
like,
you know
okay.
where you are, right?
I was like, I think I feel
park.
pretty good. You know, yeah. But I was like, I'm gonna try to drag it, and then I get my order, and I take off. And then I look at the directions, and it's like, and I think I was supposed to go right, but I went left. So I'm already on the freeway. I was like, fuck. Like, well, it's not as simple, you know, as I thought it was going to be.
Oh,
I was
fuck.
like,
yeah, you shouldn't have gone on the freeway.
Yeah.
It's just back roads, yeah.
And so I started, like, looking at it, and I started seeing my phone was at, like, 1 or 2%. Fuck. And I was like, God. It was dark. It was raining, I think.
Yeah.
At least sprinkling. It was just really dark that night. So I just started like, I literally got my receipt and a pen, and I started writing down, and I literally got just like the first direction, and it died. And I was like, no.
God, keep in mind, this In-N-Out is like a few miles.
12 minutes. It was 12 minutes away from the house.
And it's like
10.
2 turns.
Yeah.
That's it. You know? It's
So I'm like, God damn it.
and you were on the freeway when you phone
Yeah.
died, which
And
you
it's
shouldn't have been in the first place.
the worst place it could be, but I remembered like the 2 turns I needed to do.
Which
Like,
was-
it was like an exit and a turn, you know?
Oh, okay.
I
Uh-huh.
was like, okay, I know that. Maybe I could kind of, you know, wing it. Then I exit, and then I do the turn, and I have no fucking idea where I'm at. I'm in like not even a city
You're
or
probably
anything.
close. Like you probably took the right exit, but I think when you get off,
It
if I'm
looks
thinking of
weird.
the exit, you're like in the middle of nowhere.
It
Like,
literally
it's-
the middle of
it's just
nowhere. Like no
country.
store, no nothing.
Was it by that big ass the Love's truck stop thing?
I think so.
Yeah, that's
And-
the right exit.
And I was like, God damn it, where the fuck am I? I was hella panicked. And I was like, okay, let me go back to where I came from, I think. You know? Because
You went back to In-N-Out?
because I knew that taking that, it was like the exit should have been Ripon. Like it should have been Ripon.
Yeah.
You know? And I took it, and like it didn't look like Ripon. But I was like, Ripon's small. Like, how the fuck doesn't it look like Ripon? So I went out, and then I was like going back. I basically went back. And then I saw
Back
like
where?
I don't know.
Just on the freeway?
Just back on the freeway. And I just saw like Modesto.
Oh.
And I was like, I'm going back to Modesto. And then I want to figure my way back, you know? But then I was like, I was in Ripon. Like I was in Ripon.
Yeah.
So I just I went back and I went and I took the same exit again. I just did a different turn. And it started all making sense now. I still did a couple like dead ends, wrong turns. I was like, gosh. But that happened twice.
Yeah.
The second time was like the same thing. It died when I needed it.
Yeah.
And I took like hecka exits and I couldn't figure it out until I figured it out, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember thinking the whole time with this first instance, it's like, bro, I've been gone for a while. You know? Like, I was like, they're going to be like, what the fuck? It's raining. It's dark.
Yeah. And you thought I was going to be there? Huh?
Yeah, hella early because I took a while.
Yeah.
And then I get there at my house and like, you're not there. No one cares. And I was like, is Chris okay now? You know, like I took a hella long.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I'm pulling up. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, mine took so long because, first of all, she had asked somebody if I could still do the order, and she came back, and then I ordered it, and I went to the window, and then I waited for, like, days at, like, the food window, and then they eventually were just like, okay, you're gonna need to like pull up and just park in the handicap spot, and we'll come bring it to you. And then it was like another like fucking 7 minutes, and then I had to drive from Antigua, which is like 12 minutes. And I was like, fuck, and I was just so embarrassed. I just didn't want to tell you. And then I was like, I'll just fucking say it on the pod. But that's that. But I did want to segue into like how you just get lost driving everywhere.
Yeah.
If you don't have directions. And then it happened again on the way to Tracy the other day. I think you were sending audios or something. So I think your it died again?
Oh, I don't know.
I think you said you were sending audios so your instructions like weren't, or the directions weren't like reading or something. And you ended up like 15 more minutes onto your ETA.
Oh, I was sending audios. Yeah, I was sending audios, and I was just in the moment. I was sending audios to Marina. Shout out Marina. And good fan and friend and teammate. But I was sending audios to her. Huh?
Ex-teammate.
Ex-teammate.
Sorry.
Fuck the fakes. Just kidding. Just kidding. And I was just like so in the zone, and then I realized I passed the exit like so deep. Like it's like another 15 minutes, like I said, which was fat because I was only like 12 minutes away. And I was like, gosh.
Do you think that it's like what do you think is going on there? Like why can't you remember? What do you think's going on?
I think I just don't focus on it. Like I don't prioritize it because I just do it. I literally use the, for people who don't know, like I use the GPS for everything, like the smallest things, even the things I might even know. I just
still
use it. Yeah, like there's a gas station like across the street. I'll still use it. Like I just like seeing it. I like seeing the time, but now at this point, it's also like, well, that's just a part of it. But I also just don't know a lot of places now, so I just use it all the time.
Do you use it to get to work still?
Yes, every time,
every
morning. Yeah,
but the same drive every day.
I don't even have to look at it that much though. I just have it.
Oh.
And
so you'd be able to do without it, you think?
Yes. Yeah. That's actually pretty good. Because I remember, like, I've passed it a couple times, so I really had to, like, tell myself, like, okay, this is this, And since I went from Modesto to Ripon, I kind of, like, was really lost, so I really kind of prioritized, like, where the fuck am I for work,
Yeah. That's good. That's why you got to do it.
Like, and I think that's the thing is because there's been a few times where I haven't had to use my GPS. Like, there's been bad instances or whatever. And I really, really remember it from that first time because I was like so focused, Yeah. But right now I'm just so reliant on it. Like my brain doesn't prioritize. Why would I need to remember, Yeah.
Do you ever think like, what if something happens to my phone or, if it dies,
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's like so unlikely. Like it's so unlikely. Nothing's ever that important where I'd be like, fuck,
Yeah.
And
you have a job interview and your phone dies and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, that'd be worst case scenario.
It's funny because recently as well, he was leaving my jiu-jitsu gym in Turlock, and he put the GPS on, and he selected the wrong location, so he fucking ended up at work at like fucking 9 p.m. at night, and then he called me, and he's like, fuck, I fucking went to work instead of home. And he didn't realize until he was like almost
I was literally almost there, and I meant to go home.
His work is like balls deep towards like Ceres, and fucking he lives in Ripon, which if you're from around here, it's pretty far.
And I was just like, bro, it was just like, it was instinct. So I just put my address and I put it to search. So I didn't, I didn't notice. I just knew directions were taking me somewhere. I just didn't know where, I thought I was at my house. I was like 5 or 10 minutes away from my work. And when I realized like where the fuck I was like, why the hell am I kind of in this area? I was so pissed, man.
Dude, it sucks when you come to that realization. It doesn't happen to me very often. I'm really good at remembering directions somehow. Yeah. Like, even when we go to like hikes and shit, like really far, I usually drive like most or like all the way there with no directions. But I mean, I think I was gonna tell you the story on the pod like days ago, but I forgot. But I used to have a little situationship, and she lived in Sacramento, right? And I would go like stay the night at her place, and I had stayed the night. As the next day, we were like cuddling all day watching Peaky Blinders. It was hard to leave, I wanted to stay and just like chill and cuddle and everything. And then so basically what I'm trying to say here is I left very late. Like I left with not a lot of time because I was trying to make it to jiu-jitsu in Turlock, which started at 7:10, and I probably I just didn't give I gave myself barely enough time, because I had to come back to my house first to get my gi and then go to Turlock, which is another like 35 minutes from my house. And my house is already like an hour from Sacramento, So I got to drive, And just looking at, I had started the GPS on my phone, like when I left her place. And I just needed to like get on the freeway. And I was like, once I get on the freeway, like I know where to go. It's just like one freeway, and then I know my exit to get to my house, and then the rest is history. And so that's what I did. Like I used it to get on the freeway, and then I turned it off, just had my music going, and I was on my phone like the whole fucking way on the freeway, like the whole hour just on my phone. Like it was bad. And I think I looked at like the time, and I was like, it's getting kind of late, I think I kind of just like started to look at my surroundings, and I was like, wait a minute, like this doesn't look very familiar. And then I saw a sign.
You started seeing signs that weren't in your language.
Wait.
The hell? There's like 12 police cars on the back behind you, chasing you down.
I see like those red like double-decker buses from like England fucking driving around. There's phone booths.
You see the Statue of Liberty.
What the fuck? I see the Rio de Janeiro fucking statue thing. Oh yeah.
You see this statue?
Anyways. Yeah, and I saw this freeway exit, and it said Modesto. It was the smallest little fucking sign, dude. It like the exits like for Rip and Modesto, Manteca, whatever, like they're big ass signs. It was literally like a fucking street sign, and it was like Modesto, this exit, and I was like, I've never seen that in my fucking life. Like I know the exits, that ain't it,
Yeah.
And then I was like, fuck, and it was too late to take it by the time I noticed it. So then I turned the GPS on. And there's also mountains next to me, like hills, like big hills. And I was like, there ain't no fucking hills around here, Like, we live in the fucking valley, dude. It's flat. And I'm on a freeway. It's all wrong. And I turned my GPS on. And first of all, it's like 7 fucking miles until the next exit. And I already realized, like, dude, I'm so fucking late. And I was not on the 99 freeway. I was on the I-5. And when you're in Sacramento, those two freeways run like almost parallel, like in the same directions. But then as you get closer, or like further away from Sac, but closer to where we live, they fucking branch. Like they widen. One goes towards like Patterson, which is towards like the hills to get to the Bay Area, basically. And then one goes here. And I fucking took the other one, and I was so fucking far, just like in the fucking boonies, dude, and butt fuck nowhere. I was like, oh my God. And then I thought of like, dude, I always make fun of Jaime for having to use his GPS. Like every time I see him whip it out and we're going like the simplest place.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? And then there I am, fucking so far. And then I did the calculations, and like, dude, it was so goddamn far to get to my house. I was like, bro, I don't have a gi. Like, and if I go to my house, I'm not making. I think to get to my house, I was gonna get there at like 7:15. My practice starts at 7:10 Interlock, 30 minutes from my house. So like, fuck. And I was just so mad at myself and like,
you get so pissed,
anxious, and like, dude, I just can't believe I did this. Like, it's so stupid. I'm so alone. It's so dark, dude. It was at night. It was so dark, and I had no city around anywhere. Like, it was so fucking dark. And then I remember I called Noel. I was like, does Diego have an extra gi? And then he was like, no, they're fucking both dirty. And I was like, fuck, dude. I was like, I fucked up. And I was like, I'm not going to make it. Like, I need a gi. And then he's like, hold on, let me see. And then he called me back like 10 minutes later, and he's like, I have a gi. He's like, just come to practice. And I made it to practice like 10 minutes late. And then I had Diego's gi, the fucking extra belt from the storage room, the little karate belt or whatever the fuck. And dude, it was like, damn, that's fucking dedication.
Honestly,
right there,
I love when someone else brings a gi because it's just so like, just community. Like,
yeah.
Oh shit! Like I
goddamn
forgot
right,
it. Can you bring it, or I need to go now? Do you need to bring it?
And it's such homie shit because, dude, like by the time you're done with the gi after practice, that shit is like drenched in sweat. It smells like so bad. It's like, that's homie shit.
It smells like after you jerked off at 9 years old. And you're going for your second
summer?
round.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your mom's asking if you have a fever.
Yeah. It was bad, man. That was so ashamed of myself for that. Even though it's like, I really thought I knew where I was going, but I was so just embarrassed and like ashamed. And I was like,
and those are the moments where you kind of realize you're you're like an alone adult. You get that weird like homesick feeling when you're alone, and you're like, whoa, like
Yeah, like it was weird emotions. Like you would expect just like disappointment or like like you're upset at yourself, but it was like, no, I feel like depressed and like sad and anxious
scared a little bit.
Scared a little bit, like all in one. Which like I know exactly where I am now, and like I'm gonna get home.
It's
I
like,
enough, like I was fine, but I was just like, I just can't believe I did that. You know?
I felt very like that. I felt the same feeling with that whole ripping thing, just because it was like dark. It was like my phone had died. Like I knew maybe I'd get somewhere, I'd get home or whatever, but I was like, fuck, well, Chris is going to be waiting for me, but it just kind of felt scary, I was like, Jesus, like I'm alone, like
it's
I'm lost,
scary,
like almost like the closest thing to like homelessness. I don't know if this is like, but like where it's like you have no one or nothing for a second, and you're like, holy shit, I'm alone,
Yeah, alone.
Yeah.
And your phone was dead, so it's even worse. My phone was alive, and I still felt that way.
Exactly. I mean, I wouldn't feel as bad, but I think the realization, I would feel that for a second.
I had just gone so far past where I should have gone, like so deep, and I was like, dude, I'm far. Because then I knew where I was, but I was like, Jesus, And then to make it worse, I fucking did it to. Apparently, there's a Modern Warrior in Modesto, and I did that one on accident with GPS. And I ended up there, and I was like, fuck, dude, I can't get your break.
That same night?
Yes.
Oh, wow, that's bad.
And then I ended up going to my gym, and it was fine. But it's interesting, like, the things that impact you, And like, because that shit, like, when you think about that, you wouldn't think it'd make you feel so, like, bad. But it does,
It
like,
hits some,
so
like,
alone.
weird thing, like
there's
some weird.
Something getting triggered in there,
And I think, like if your family's dead or dies, like your parents die or something, like I feel like that's similar feelings.
Yeah.
Like like if you need something that your parents would typically kind of help you with, or I don't know, just like them not even being in the same earth as you, you'll have that same feeling of like, whoa, like,
That's what's gonna feel like when we go to San Diego.
I mean, I'm gonna have some of those nights, you're gonna hear the street, those cars,
The gunshots, because we can't afford a good neighborhood.
Oh God, for sure.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna try to open our RV door. We're like, hey,
The bars on the bathroom windows.
we're in a public bathroom sleeping, like The Pursuit of Happiness.
God, no.
Dude, that scene
Dude.
always makes me want to cry.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
It's so sad. He's like making him imagine everything. Like,
Yeah.
oh, dinosaurs.
Like,
Oh, it's so sad.
and he has like the door, the
and
phone
they're
on the
banging
door,
on it, right?
And he's like,
Boom, boom, boom. How did the son not wake up when somebody's banging, right? Or was he awake when it was banging?
I think he was asleep, or he was like holding him tight, but I think he was asleep. Maybe the kid knew, like,
Maybe he covered his ears.
So I'm thinking something like that.
Or maybe it's just like it's a movie.
It's just a movie. Like
Actors
maybe
do
that banging didn't happen, but
Yeah.
I mean, still kind of probably someone every once in a while would be like,
Yeah.
but they probably can't sleep there, so they, the security guard probably has to check every once in a while.
Yeah. Dude, I always do that with movies. I'm so fucking annoying. I always like read so hard into it. And I'm like, that wouldn't happen. That's not realistic. I'm like, Chris, it's a movie, Like,
Yeah.
Or people are right, like, dude, it's a fucking movie. I'm like, you're right. I
Mhm.
shouldn't fucking read into it that much.
I think since I generally watch movies I really have like high anticipations for that I know are pretty good.
Mhm.
Like I don't know, they're just so good where I'm like I don't even have that criticism.
Yeah.
But as soon as I watch like someone else's movie or something like that where it's not really my choosing,
Mhm.
I criticize the shit out of it. I'm like, I was like, this
Yeah.
could just be done better. This could have been
Yeah.
acted. Like that's not gonna happen. Or that's a weird ending.
Yeah, I feel it. We watched the movie mid-90s, I think last weekend or 2 weekends
yeah.
ago. That was my first time ever watching it. It's a skating movie. A bit sweaty?
No.
I think this one might be.
No,
A little bit.
they both were.
You fucker. Anyways, we watched mid-90s. It's a skating movie, and it's basically like I knew the kind of the plot of it before ever watching it. It's like about this kid. He's really young, probably like, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 years old. But like
Younger.
almost like
Yeah,
pre-puberty, like his
yeah.
voice is super like,
I think he's 9.
Oh, I think it's more accurate.
Because I think the kids he's hanging around with are like 13.
Yeah, all the way up to like I think 17 when one of them was. But he like basically finds a skateboard, starts skateboarding because he thinks it's cool. He like sucks, and then he finds like this group of teenagers older than him. They're all older than him, and they kind of like take him under under their wing, and then he basically like they're his influences, and then it kind of shows like how they influence him and the choices he makes with their influence and stuff. And I feel like it was so accurate. Like I kept telling Jaime throughout, like, dude, that's really how it was, for me, because I grew up skateboarding. I was skating at that age. That's when I met the guy that jerked off on the dresser.
Gosh.
Like literally 9 years old, and we would skate together. Like that was our main thing, you know. And then we met a bunch of other people, and it was like this whole gang, but everybody was older than me. And I remember like everything in that movie was just so accurate, you know. Like there was always weed around me, always. Like I would smell it every single day at the skate park, you know. And I was like, I remember my parents used to take me to the skate park when I was like pretty young, but then they were just like, yeah, we'll just drop you off. Like after a while, so I had all the fucking freedom, you know. Like I could have just like gotten high like any time.
We gotta have your mom on the pod, man. I want to like.
I really want her on.
I want to be like, what did you like? How did you come up with this conclusion? I'm not saying it's bad, but like I'm just saying like, what was your thought process? Like, how were you raised versus how you raise your kids? Like to be like, oh, okay, because I don't think that's bad. Like I don't think dropping off your kid and letting him have some freedom, you know. But it's just so different from what I was raised in. So I'm like, how did you like? What's your thought process as a parent? You know,
I really want to know.
Were you stressing? Were you not stressing? Were you like, okay, this is normal? Were you like, fuck, am I pushing it? Would you like, you know?
I definitely want to ask her. Yeah, I want to have her on the pod for sure. But just ask her in general, like, how did you deal with that? Because me as a parent, like, and knowing what was around me there, like, I'd be hesitant to drop my kid off at the skate park. Like, I don't think it's dangerous, but I think the influence, like, sometimes you could be a little worried because you're so young, dude, and like you look up to like all these older guys, and like especially if they're like good at skating, you're like, bro, like he does it, you know, and he's like doing the craziest tricks, and like you think he's so cool, and dude, it was just always there. Like there's always weed, and I remember it was just like in a movie, they'd buy like 40-ounce, the big 40-ounce like glass bottles of beer, and they'd have them in a brown bag because everybody's like underage, but they were like older, like teenagers, and they would drink them like just at the skate park, and like I would be offered and shit, and offered weed a lot too, and I would always say no until I was like, I think 14 when I smoked the first time, and then 13 when I drank. But like, dude, since I was so young, like I could have gotten it, you know?
Yeah.
How would you handle that as a parent? Like, it's just hard because, and I know at that time I would have been like you think you're in so much in control at that age, you know? Like I remember thinking like, oh, I'm sure my parents are worried, but like, I know what I'm doing, and I'll make the right decision. It's like, bro, they're just a kid, you know? Like, I'd be scared. I think. Like,
and
I definitely think
all
about
it takes is a little switch, and
yeah.
you're never going to be like, I'm making the really wrong choice, you know? Maybe every once in a while, but you're just going to keep doing it, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird because we talked about this. I think we talked about this recently about, like, our childhood and everything. And how it's like we were offered stuff, both of us, but I feel like both of us were pretty good at being like, nah, I'm good, you know? And for me, less like hard, you know, like less weed and alcohol, but more just like the activities itself, you know? A little bit more dangerous, a little bit more wild, but I was a very like calm kid. And it's weird because it's like, part of that has to do, I feel like, with my mom being like super protective and like how her thought process was, and like that kind of just was ingrained in me.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, how am I going to give that to my kid where I want him to have like a really good like moral compass, kind of like, you know, decision making skills where it's like, okay, you know, weigh the pros and cons, but in my way, you know, where it's not because I'm like, you know, I'm scared and I don't want you to do anything bad and like this is awful. I'm more just like, okay, like analyze the situation, you know, as much as you can for yourself. Here's a pretty good standard. But it's just like crazy because it's another person. Like you literally are molding another person, you know? Like you could mold him however you want to be. So, I'll probably just beat him. I'm just kidding.
One thing that my mom did kind of like step in with is one of my friends that I grew up skating with. I think I was like 16 at the time and 15 or 16. And he was probably like 18, 19, 20, something like that. And he had been like selling drugs for a while. Like he would sell like weed and pills and mushrooms and coke too.
Shit.
Yeah. I won't name him, but I'm pretty sure you know who I'm talking about.
Yep.
Yeah. And yeah, and he was doing it for a while, and like I knew, but it was just like whatever. And I was around it too, like, which is crazy because he'd be like bagging shit up like around me, you know, or like he would do like go bring people their weed or whatever, like while I was in the car with him and shit, you know?
Damn.
And I remember my mom
He gives you a gun, he's like, in case any shit goes down. Dude, it was crazy because, real quick, we were at the store getting something with Roger, Chris, and Angel.
Yeah.
And I think, what were we drinking before? Because I think I remember I was kind of
You
buzzed.
were. We watched fights
the
that
fight.
night.
I was pretty buzzed. And Roger comes in. And for those who know Roger, like, he grew up, like, in the hood in that kind of lifestyle. I mean, I don't know. But in that lifestyle, so he's always really, like, protective. Yeah. He's very, like, focused, you know. Yeah. I remember one time, like, me and Roger and another friend were just talking. We were in the car, and the friend was outside just in the window. Yeah. And there was this guy, like, pretty far, but he was just walking in the parking lot. And just, like, as he having our conversation, he, like, unbuckles his seatbelt just randomly. I'm like, why are you doing that? He's like, well, just in case anything goes down. I'm like, Jesus, like, that's so attentive, you know? Wow. I'm so relaxed. Like, I don't even look anywhere. Yeah. But it does help me a lot because I'm like, okay, I should be kind of keeping my head a little bit on a swivel. You know? Anyways, so I expect this kind of behavior from him. He's gotten a couple fights. And bro, he came in the door. He came in the car and, like, opened the door. And he's like, hey, hurry up. Come on right now. I'm about to fight this guy. You know?
And just got the car to silence.
Yeah.
Just fell over all of us. And it was like.
And I unbuckled my seatbelt and I was like, fuck. Like, I remember just being in that. Like,
I remember you were like, seriously? And he's like, yeah, come on. And like, he
played it well.
He played it so
because he like grabbed something or let go of something, like he was gonna come back out, you know?
Dude, I believed it.
And just in my head, I was like, this is not a time to hesitate. And like, I really like Roger. Like, fuck it. Like, I can't be like thinking whatever. And I was really about it. Like, I was really about just getting out of the car and just being like, let's see what's gonna happen. Like, I really hope nothing happens, but let's just see, you know?
Jaime unbuckled the seatbelt and he started getting out, and then Roger was like, I'm just kidding. And I was like, dude, like, oh my god.
And then Angel and Roger or Angel and Chris were just still sitting in the back like just shook.
Yeah,
you know?
I hadn't fucking moved. I would have gone.
You locked the door?
I would have stayed, but oh man,
I just get so scared of getting shot.
See, that's the thing. You know, it's like, it's one thing if we just throw down, but like if somebody pulls out a knife or a gun, like, I'm not trained for that.
Like, I could get my ass beat. And I could beat ass. You know, one of the two. That's the only outcomes. Whatever. Yeah. Like, life happens.
I just
don't send me to the medical. Like, you know, don't send me to a doctor. I'm pissed for
Lord knows your insurance not gonna pay for
shit.
Fuck,
seriously. But dude, to get. Anyways, let's go back to them.
Okay. You know what's crazy too? I remember one time he was like, he put like a little bit of coke in a bag. This friend, we were like in his room.
Okay.
So he was bagging up some cocaine, right? And I think I don't know why he did this. He probably did it on purpose looking back on it. But I think he like bit, because it's one of those little baggies, little ones. And I think he like bit it to like seal it or something. And he's like, woof. He's like, my tongue's a little numb. I was like, Jesus. I remember being a kid, like, wow, it works that quick. Like, damn.
How old is he, do you know?
I think he's like 19 or 20. Somewhere in there.
He's a little older. Definitely a lot older.
Yeah. Okay. And long story short, I remember my mom found out that he was like selling drugs, but I think she just found out that he was selling weed. Like, she didn't know he was selling other stuff. How did she
find out? Do you know?
I don't fucking know. I don't know if one of my sisters found out.
Probably your sisters. It's definitely a sister, like, hearing about it, offered or something, you know?
Or maybe one of my other friends like slipped and said it. Because all my friends were like really close to my mom. Like, she was kind of like their moms to their mom. Yeah, and then she was like, I don't know if I want you hanging out with them anymore, you know? Because I'm still in high school. Like, I'm still a kid, basically, you know? And I remember, like, being like, no. Like, I think I, like, fought her on it. Like, I didn't fight her, but we had, like, a conversation.
Yeah,
and
it's fine, you know?
Yeah, and I was like, it's fine. Like, I'm not going to do any of that. Like, I'm not interested at all. And I think I had started running at that time, too. So I think I probably played that card. Like, I'm a runner. Like, I'm not going to, you know, I'm not going to smoke. And I think she ended up folding and was just like, let me hang out with, which honestly got bad on her, you know? Like,
stop. Yeah,
I think me in that situation, I probably would have tried to hold firm, you know, and be like, but it's just, she knew, dude, we were friends for so long. Like,
that'd been like 10 plus years by now.
Yes.
Almost, you know?
Yeah, like that long. She's like a son to my mom, like still to this day. Like, she'll text him happy birthday, like every time it's his birthday, like. Dude, yeah, it's very, very close. He, like, lived at our house, basically, for, like, a long time, you know? So, I could see how it's hard for her, you know, to be like, you can't hang out with this person anymore. At the same time, I'm like, damn, it's just, I don't know, it's a tough one. It's a tough line there. You know, and she only thought he was selling weed too. It's like, I'm sure if she knew he was selling other stuff, it would have been different.
It's crazy because my mom, now just thinking about it, like, my mom would, like, not like any kid for any reason almost. Like, you know,
Yeah.
if it would be like, it'd always be that, like, a reason to not be able to, like, hang out with them or sleep over or anything, you know?
Yeah.
And she would hold grudges. And these guys are kids, you know?
Yeah.
And she would just see how they act with me, you know? And obviously sometimes, like, I'd be getting picked on or whatever, but like, maybe bad friends, but also just
A guy that punched you in the face.
yeah, like that kind of scenario where now, like, if they saw they're too rough or whatever, and she'd be like, no, like, I don't want you with that kid, you know, like, he's not good, and all this stuff. And I'd just be so frustrated. I'd be like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah,
seriously?
like
You know,
any
like,
reason.
I can't, like, or just hold grudges. I would have to,
Yeah.
like, consistently convince him, like,
Yeah.
no, like, he's my friend, or like, no, he didn't mean this, or no, it's okay, like, you know, he's not doing anything.
Yeah.
It's like all the time, you know? I remember I couldn't even go to sleepovers with a kid that was across my street. He literally lived across the street from me. And I couldn't do a sleepover because she didn't trust the family or anything, you know?
Damn.
And but they would always be like, oh, they could sleep over at our house. Always. It'd always be like, no, but they could sleep over here. I'm like, God, you know?
I was going to say, I remember you telling me a story one time which is quite the opposite of what you just said. I think you lived in like an apartment complex at some time in your childhood, and your mom would be like, oh, go play with the kid that lives like a couple doors down or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you hated playing with that kid because he was hella weird.
I think I said that on the pod, didn't I?
Did you?
I
don't think so.
This was a rare instance where she was like, it's because we had just moved in there. And like at that point in time, it was like post-divorce, small apartment, down bad. And I'd only been playing video games, you know?
Yeah.
And it was just like a kid exactly my age, just like across the street. She's like, perfect. Like across the street, you know? And we were cleaning the garage. And she was like, and the kid was just playing, you know? And she's like, oh, you should invite him to, like, you know, do something or hang out.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't really want to, you know? Like, I'm just chilling. Like, I'm, at this point, like, since I'd been kind of sheltered for a while, like, I didn't really like to, like, do anything like that anymore, you know? I'd be like, I like being in my room. I like being cozy in there, you know?
You like
Which
the shower head.
Which
I'm good. Let me go take a bath.
I gotta take a bath just to de-stress for a couple hours. I'm like
like 10
12 with like a
orgasms?
cigar, and like a little drink, like what's
A
it?
little scotch.
Yeah. Oh, life's been rough.
God, the divorce, I tell you.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, they're taking everything from me. The jet skis are gone. I don't even have a house anymore. My mom sleeps on a pull-out couch. I was thinking that right now because I would sleep with my mom a lot, but she also had a pull-out couch that was a bed, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And she did that for a long time. But, like, obviously she'd come to the room a lot of times, like, because she didn't want to sleep on the fucking couch, and she would want to sleep with me. I'd be like, okay, like, you know? But it's crazy because not once did she ever, like, make me sleep in that couch, you know?
Yeah.
That bed. And I was like,
Damn,
oh,
that's
it's kind of nice,
yeah,
you know?
it's like Mama Bear, like.
I mean, one of it's like, fucking, we're in this position because you guys are divorced. But
It's the least you could do.
Yeah, I know.
Fuck,
But,
Mom.
Just kidding. I don't have that much grudge and like that. But I mean, at the time, I never was like, oh no, like you take the room. You know? I would just be like, okay, well, that's what she wants to do. You know, I guess. You know, and like the room was kind of my room, but
It's kind of like when I drive your car back from SAC and fucking you can't even wait for me to park it. You just fucking leave with the
I
keys
guess
for me to
I've
park
always
it.
been selfish, huh?
Yep.
But no, like, and she'd always take the bed, and I'm like, damn, what a champ. Even when we moved to another house, that other house, the house you recognized.
Yeah,
you
and I
know?
got broken into. Your poor mom was sleeping out there.
But
by
remember,
herself.
she had that couch. Do you remember when she would sleep on
Yeah.
that couch? And it was
Mhm.
there was a bed couch, you know. And likely she has a bed now.
Hey,
You know, hey,
Hey,
she's
she
looking up on her.
things are looking up for once.
House I had the Cow King couch, the
It's your-
Cow King bed.
It's your bed.
I'd be disgusted every time she'd be like, "Can I sleep with you?" Like, the fuck? Go back to your fucking room, bitch. I'm just kidding.
The fuck? Cow King?
Close it on the way out.
Jaime is the fucking most for that Cow King bed, man. Like, Jaime has a Cow King bed all to himself. And ever since
Hey.
I've known you, you've slept in it by yourself.
But you got to think. I think at one point it was because I don't know. Because I'm thinking. I think I got the Cow King when I first
You
got my
probably got that when
actual
you're, like,
room.
13.
No, I think it was like 14, 15. Like when we moved to that house. I think
There's
they're
no
like,
reason you
oh,
should have
you're,
a cow king bed.
you're starting to sleep by yourself now, honey. You know, let's get a bed that you
that's
deserve.
nice though, man. And I'm just thinking about when we moved to San Diego, like we're probably gonna get an apartment, you know? It's probably gonna be upstairs because it'll be the cheaper one.
Yeah.
And then fucking we have to carry that bitch, and I've already had to do that. Help me carry it up the fucking flight of stairs.
But we did it, so we've done it before.
They were being so pissed the whole time.
Thank
That was
you.
funny though. Issa's just laughing because we're like fucking. You know, at the new apartment.
Did she help us? Oh
probably
yeah,
watched.
dude. I mean, I remember she helped us.
move. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember she helped me the first day because she had hella shit. She had like my backpack, all my clothes. It was like
I
a
don't even
picture.
think-
Here's a picture. It looks so funny and
I
cute.
don't even think you
She's
packed your clothes and anything. It's just on hangers. It's just like that was a nice day.
That was a really
It's just
nice day. It's
exciting,
just
like,
fun.
you know.
It sucked too because I was like, wow, I'm gonna be living in Ripon. Like, you know, or like in a good way. Like, wow, like you know, I'll give my different place. I'm moving out of the garage. East is gonna be here. You're gonna be here. We're all gonna be like a trio. I just fucking left. You know?
It's crazy to think about when she was here, man.
Yeah.
One thing about my drug dealer friend, right? It was funny one time. We were all like in his car hanging out one night, and then I remember one of my friends in high school. I'll just say his name. You know him?
With the nose?
Yeah.
Okay.
The one with the nose. And he was like one of my good friends at the time. I remember he hit me up and he was like, hey, does your friend have weed? I don't know how he knew, but he knew. And then I'm
not saying the nose is ugly. It was just a defined feature of him.
Is that bad that I said his name? Maybe we should bleep that. This is about a drug deal.
This was fucking 8 years ago.
Okay, fuck it. And he hit me up asking if my friend had weed that his friend could buy.
Yeah, believe it. Sorry. I'm just thinking. It's fucked. It's not our information to give.
His white friend, right? His white privileged friend wanted to buy weed. So he hit me up about my friend, right? And I'm like, yeah, he has some. And then I told my friend, he's like, oh, yeah, let's go. Because he lived like pretty close in Modesto. And like we went. And I don't know the drug lingo, like how much. I don't know how much is how much. You know, this is when weed was illegal. And he was like, oh, I'll buy this much or whatever. And my friend, like, knowing that this guy's my friend's friend, he, like, gets the weed, weighs it out, and he fucking skimps him. Like, he gave him, like, so much less than he paid for. And then he fucking just gave it to me. And I just allowed it. I didn't say anything.
Of course.
You know? I was like, God damn. And he knew that my friend was like the middleman for getting it to his friend. So he's like, dude, this guy's not going to fucking know.
Yeah.
And he just gave it to him. And then he just drove away. I'm like,
And
God,
you never heard a complaint or anything,
no,
did you?
Nothing. I don't think they knew.
No reoccurring customer, though.
No, I don't think so. It was a one-time
Hey, maybe
thing, yeah.
maybe if we gave him a little more, it would have been a recurring customer.
Maybe. You know?
I don't know what they say.
Have I ever told the story of when I broke my arm on the podcast?
No.
Never? Do you even know the story?
Skateboarding?
Yeah. Once was skateboarding, once was snowboarding. I broke it twice.
For sure not the snowboarding. Maybe the skateboarding.
Okay, yeah. So I'll just tell it real quick. I don't know why. I just thought it'd be interesting. So I broke my left arm twice as a kid. And the first time was skateboarding. It's crazy. I had been into skateboarding for a while, and I had started to get like pretty good at it. Like I had started to go down like all the craziest ramps and stuff, and I started doing like tricks and shit, which is like a big deal. And I remember when I started skating, it was with Christian Ba, which is crazy. Like he just
had really good eyebrows.
He does actually. I don't know if he still does. I haven't seen him in so fucking long, but yeah, nice like that curve, you know, pretty good. But I remember we started skating together in like 3rd or 4th grade. And we started going to the skate park together, and we'd like go down the ramps and shit. And then we stopped hanging out for like a while. And then I remember like on this one day, I was like, let me bring him with me again. Like I want to show him everything I learned. Nice. And then we went, and I was like showing him like all the like tricks I could do now. And he was like, holy shit, dude, like you got good, you know? And I was like, wow, you know, I was proud of myself. And then I tried this trick. It's called rock to fakie. It's like a really fucking basic trick. I'll put a little video here. It's literally like it's very simple trick that you would do in like a bowl or like a pool or something. And I had learned it on like this small, it's called a quarter pipe. If you just imagine like the shape of a wave, that's what it is, but it's concrete. So it's just like, 90 degrees. And you go up, rock your board on the coping, and you go back down backwards. That's the trick. And the next step up was the bowl at the Riverbank Skate Park. And that's like a lot bigger, right? And there was this older guy there at the skate park that day. And I remember he was like, probably like mid to late 20s, like an older guy, right? But I thought he was super cool, and he would skate the bowl like really good. And he was doing that trick, rock to fakie. And I was like, wow, like he does it good. And I remember telling him I think he saw me doing it on the quarter pipe, which is smaller. He's like, dude, you got that. Like, do it in the bowl. And I didn't have it. Like, I could barely do it, And I was just like, that's when you get hurt. Like, doing, like, skating or snowboarding is when you start trying something that you shouldn't try yet. Like, you need to move at your own pace. Because if you try to start doing crazy-ass shit, you're going to fuck yourself up. And I didn't know that at the time, And then, yeah, I remember I was like, okay, like, maybe, And then I think I tried it a couple of times, and I just fucking fell every time, like, pretty bad. But I was a kid and fearless, and, like, I was just going for it. And I remember, like, I think I wanted to stop. And I remember the guy, like, pressuring me almost. And he was like, fucking do it. And I was like, oh, shit. And I didn't even really know like, the guy, like.
Is this your friend? You're not fucking leaving until you do the trick.
Literally. And I had seen him at the skate park. I don't know. I'd seen him a couple times before, so I kind of knew him. We had some rapport built, But, yeah, I remember him being like, no, do it. Like, you're going to do it. And I was like, fuck. And like, I think he's trying to motivate me, but like in hindsight, I think it was a little too much, like, and I was like, fuck, okay,
Like,
so I was getting fucked up. And then I just tried it one time, and like, when I was going back down like the thing backwards, like my board just like shot from under me, and I landed like on my arm, and it just broke like really close to my wrist. And it wasn't like fucked up like visibly, but it hurts so bad, like instantly. I was just like, dude, something's wrong, And I remember like just sitting there, like at the bottom of the bowl, like just imagine a pool.
You look up, he's not even there anymore. He's gone. You see him at the end of the court running for dear life.
And then he was with his girlfriend too. His girlfriend was like sitting there watching. She didn't skate. She was just like there. But yeah, I remember just sitting there holding my arm for like 10 minutes. And then I think even he was like, do you need to get out of the bowl? Like, you need to get out.
He's like, I'm trying to do the trick.
Can you fucking move? Like, I think he wanted to skate. He was like, get out, And I remember him skating while I was in there. Like, I was like, Jesus. And then, dude, I was bad. I was just holding it for so long, like, in pain. And then I remember being like, I think I dislocated or something, but, like, something's off, And he had to, like, help me get out. And that was when my dad would, like, stay at the skate park, like, in the car. And I think my dad? Yeah.
Are you sure?
Believe it or not.
maybe you hit your head. You're like, Dad, where are you? You just see like Hugh Hefner, like a shadow of him. You're like, Papa?
Papa? It was just like in my dreams, And you wake up and back to reality.
I just want to sleep in for 5 more minutes, hoping that
it doesn't come back.
Yeah,
it doesn't come back. Does it?
You just can control your dream, and it doesn't really matter anymore.
And yeah, I remember. I think we went home. Dude, that pain is fucked, dude. It's so bad. And then I remember we went home and I was like icing it, and that helped because like once it like numbed my arm, it was like, I can't feel the pain anymore. It's so nice. And then we take it off and it fucking hurt so bad. And I remember my mom, which is funny, she was mad at me that I got hurt, and she was like, if I have to miss my hair appointment later, you're gonna be in trouble. Like, she was so fucking pissed.
I remember seeing this TikTok where it's like when your mom's pissed that you're sick, and she's like picking you up, and she's like, oh, okay, thanks for letting me know. And the door closes, and she's like, I hope you feel better. She's like, yeah. I had to call in early for work because of this. You know what that means? No phone, no TV, no nothing. It's like, Jesus. God.
Yeah. Principal Taylor, thank you so much for taking care of my son, my poor sick son. Yeah, we will be sending him straight to bed as soon as he gets home. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. So this is what you made me miss work for today? Because you have a little cough, a little sore throat? Well, guess who owes me $72 today? Because that's how much I won't be making. So you know what? As soon as you get home, You are going straight into your bed, under the covers, and your phone comes with Mama. Oh, and your video games. What's that? You want me to turn up the radio? Well, since you're so sick, no.
Sorry, you know.
It was literally just like that. And then she did have to miss her hair appointment because I went to the fucking doctor. And I got x-rays and they're like, yep, it's broken. I was like, fuck. Like, that's crazy. I'm so young. Like, no way, you know?
Yeah.
And it was pretty fucked. And I got a cast and it was
How'd
like,
your
whatever.
mom react?
I think it was fine. Like, I had just been doing shit like that for a while. So I think it was almost like expected, you know? And then a year later, I broke it again. Like, the same arm. It was literally like exactly a year, I think. And I was snowboarding. I had gotten like super into snowboarding at that point.
Is that why you're only 5'6"?
No. I think I was 10 this time.
No.
And, yeah, me and my dad would go snowboarding all the time. Like, if it was winter, it was like, bam, like every weekend. And I was super into it. And then I had discovered snowboarding, like, they have these sections on the mountain called, like, the park. And that's where they have, like, rails and boxes and jumps. Like, you can, like, slide down the rails or, like, you get on the box. It's like a ledge, and you slide down that. And I had gotten, like, okay at that. Like, I learned how to do it. And, again, like, I was just doing something, like, I shouldn't have done. You know? It was, like, out of my league. I wasn't that good yet. And I remember... And I had a friend with me, too, that day. I brought one of my friends that was, like, a snowboarder. It's always one of the fucking friends there, you know?
Yeah.
And
When the girls are around.
yeah. And I like went to this box and it was like super steep. So it's like this ledge that's like really steep and long. And I went to like slide down it and I like jumped onto it and I was like sliding off the side where like, cause it's slippery on top and you're on a snowboard, you're strapped in, so you can't jump off. And I was sliding off the side of the box and I was like, fuck, like, I didn't know at the time you're just supposed to go off if that happens. You just go off the side. But at the time I didn't know. So I tried to like correct it by like jumping back into the middle of the box, but they're super fucking slippery. So when I jumped into the middle, I just like slipped out like so fast. Like my feet just shot out and I fell backwards and I put both arms behind me. Dude, it's bad. I put both arms behind me to like try to break my fall. And yeah, my left one, like, I knew instantly, as soon as I fell on the arm, just pain, like, right away. And I remember I hit my head, too. I was wearing a helmet, though, which is good, because I hit my head really hard. And, dude, actually, this is, like, so traumatic for me, because I remember, and then I slid off the box, and I was sitting at the end, again, sitting, holding my arm, and I looked, and it was fucked. That time it was bad, because I broke both arms, or both bones in the arm.
The fibula and tibia?
The radius and the ulna. Yeah, dude, it was like a V. Like,
wow, you could see and feel the bump.
Clearly, you could see it was like bent backwards, basically. And I remember my dad like came up and he was like, "Whoa, like, are you okay?" And he was like, and then he saw it and he was like, "Oh shit!" And then yeah, dude, it was fucked. It's a whole thing too, because you have to have like the ski patrol people come and they bring like a sled and they like put you in the sled.
Were you crying, huh?
No, I didn't cry for that one.
Really?
I think the first one I cried like once I got home.
Yeah.
Because I was like, dude, this is fucked, and it hurt, and I was scared. This time I didn't cry at all, but it hurt so much worse. Like, it just fucked. And yeah,
I've never, for those in context, I've never broken a bone, so I can't even
Yeah.
imagine the pain. Like, just that's scary. Just because I don't even know what it
It's
feels like,
bad.
it just sounds so scary. Like the worst thing that could
it's
happen.
by far like the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. I'll
Like, just
never
know it's gonna
forget
happen
it.
once. You know.
Just be careful. You know, don't like just I don't know. Ask yourself, should I be doing this or not? You know.
Should I
Before
tap?
you do something? Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and then they had to take me to like there's like a little like medical office in the thing, and I was like laying there on like this bed with like the nurse. I don't know, there's like a nurse or a doctor or somebody there. And then I remember my dad had to like go ski. I don't know why, but he had to go like ski like across the mountain to get to like the parking lot that we were parked in. And I remember it felt like he took like 3 hours, which I'm sure it was only like 30 minutes or something. But like, dude, it took so long. And it was just so fucked. And I had to have surgery on that. like as a child, and I missed like hella weeks of school. Yeah,
That's a
dude,
big deal,
it was a
huh?
big deal. Yeah, and I remember like the reason I thought of the story was because we were talking about like getting lost with the GPS and shit, and then you just have that like panic and like homelessness feeling. Like I remember that's one of the first times as a kid feeling like real like depression. Like I was so young, I was like 10 years old, but I remember just thinking like I'm so stupid. Like never should have tried that. Like I'm not that good enough to be trying that yet. I fucked my arm up. I can't snowboard now until like next year. It's just like the worst fucking thing ever. And I remember just being so like frustrated at myself and mad and like depressed. And I never told anybody I felt that way, but it's like that shit's really traumatic, you know? Like these injuries, it just really fucks you up for a while, you know, mentally. Anyways.
It's crazy because like that literally is a consistent theme in your life now, and how
Yeah.
you react, you know.
And I think that's why, because yeah, like my close friends know, like when I get injured, it really fucks with like my head, and I get really like upset and like mad and frustrated and sad all in one. Even in jiu-jitsu, like there's always injuries with it, and when there's one that's like really hurts, you know, like I think it's from gripping like the gi probably too hard. Like I probably have like a death grip on like the sleeves or collars or whatever. But I think I grip too hard, and I think my muscles in my forearm like get inflamed or something, but it hurts like so bad. And like even when I'm rolling sometimes, like I can't crank the collar on like a cross collar because it hurts so bad. Or like I remember I tried Americana once and I couldn't do it because it hurt so bad. I was like, dude, I feel like my arm's gonna break. Like it was so bad. And I remember like just driving home being so like defeated and just like upset. And it's like I feel like that's probably why. It's because I had that reaction when I was a kid, and now whenever I get hurt, I'm just like so like just so over it. Like instantly, I'm just like fuck, you know, just so mad. It's like it's such a normal thing, but I just get so upset.
Imagine like when you broke your arm and when you were snowboarding.
Yeah.
You were snowboarding, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, just thought skiing too because of the boxes. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's like if from the get you'd be introduced to like how to deal with it like healthily, maybe it wouldn't be like this. Like, you know, like what if your dad was just like, oh, this is okay, son. Like, you know, you'll be good.
Yeah.
We'll still have fun. Like it's gonna happen, you know?
Yeah, nobody ever told me that. Like, it's going to be okay, you know?
Yeah.
Just to hear that once in my life. It's gonna be okay. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, nobody talks to you about it, you know? Not even the doctors. Like, hey, how you feeling? You know, like, are you okay, like, mentally, you know? Like, nobody ever says that, you know? And that's, like, a huge component of it. And,
And like during the whole recovery process too, it's not like one day all the attention and then the next it's whatever.
Like, it's not just physical, you know? It's like I'm fucking incapacitated, you know, to some degree. But, and then another thing, too, is I remember feeling, like, embarrassed, too, when I broke it the second time. It was, like, bro, I've broken my arm twice in, like, a year span, you know? And, like, I was doing something, like, I shouldn't have been doing. Like, it was too out of my, like, comfort zone, you know? And I was just feeling really embarrassed. And, like, all my friends would go snowboarding, and I couldn't go with them. And, like, all my friends would skate, and the doctor told me I couldn't skate. So I didn't skate for, like, 3 months. And that was, like, the hardest thing because, like, that was my life. Like, it's all I did. That's all I did with my friends. So I would just watch and be like, I'd be so embarrassed. And then people would ask me, I remember kids would be like, how'd you break your arm? I'd be like, snowboarding. They're like, how the fuck do you break your arm snowboarding? Like, snow is soft, you know?
So common.
I know. It's actually a really common way to break your shit. But, like, a lot of my friends actually didn't snowboard. They just skated. So they just didn't get it, you know?
Yeah.
But I remember being really embarrassed. And now, too, when I get injured, I feel like embarrassment. Like, I don't want to talk about it too much because I'm like, nobody wants to hear about this, you know? Like, it's just an injury. And it's funny, too, because, like, when we had Kalani on the pod, and we made a reel out of it, too, him saying, like, oh, if you don't have a fucking bone sticking out of your body, like, you need to show up and train. And it's funny because I just, like, disagree with that so much, you know? Yeah. Like, it's gnarly, and I think it's, like, an interesting, you know, take, and that's why I made the reel and stuff. But, like, after my experiences now, I'm like, it is always, like, a better choice just to play it safe. I mean, if your goal is just to go balls to the wall and, like, you know, risk your, like, body and health. Yeah. But, like, for me, everything's about longevity now because I just want to maintain my health, you know? And I know how I feel when I can't do what I want to do because of injuries. So I'm like, fuck that, you know? Like, it's always now I'm like, I'd rather take some time off, you know, instead of fucking training through it. And I feel like even with this competition coming up, I have a jiu-jitsu competition this Sunday.
Hey.
My first one ever. Like, a big part of me is nervous to get injured. And I'm like, fuck, I hate that. You know? Like, I'm scared because I don't want to get hurt. You know? Like, can just crank my shit, like, immediately. I'm like fucking tear something or something. I'm like, scared.
Because they're going to go ham.
Yeah,
You know,
and I know
don't-
that. And I'm scared, you know?
They're not your training partner.
Yeah. And they're not going to hold back. So I'm like, fuck, you know? I don't know.
You'll tap quick. Worst comes to worst.
I hope so, because sometimes people have like a gnarly Kimura, and I'm just like, nope. Like I don't tap easy, and I'm like, bro, I can't do that, you know? 'Cause, like,
Yeah, they'll play it quick. You'll feel it quick. Like, just like, tap, 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 tap,
yeah.
you know?
And I might just yell it like, tap.
I will, you know? Like,
Fuck. But I don't know. Anything else you want to say?
I don't think so. I think
Hour and
it's good.
22.
I think it's a good. Oh, okay.
Let me check the old notes
We'll
here.
get like a couple. Hit 135. If there's anything.
There was a lot of things I didn't talk about, but it's alright. We could save it. It's a good story I didn't talk about, but it's like a sexual one, so it's like I was kind of avoiding that because we talked about sex so much in this one.
Well, everyone's gone by now. So.
I've been wanting to ask you because you're super into the cold plunge thing now, you know, and cold showers and stuff. But I remember you for a long time always being like, anytime it was raining and we were outside, like one of the first things you'd be like, fuck, dude, I don't want to get sick, you know? But now you're like super into like exposing yourself to cold, wet situations.
Yeah.
Now what do you think about that? Because you swore by that. Like,
I still think like, fuck, like I need to cover up. I don't want to get sick. Like, you know, I still think that. But when I'm like doing something with intent, it kind of goes against it, you know? But when I do something with intent, I'm like, no, this is good. Like, you know, like my brain is focused, you know, like but it's like,
so if you're purposely in the cold, you won't get sick. But if you're not purposely in the cold, you will get sick.
something like that, you know? And I don't know, maybe this is just ingrained in my head, okay?
Yeah. No, it's like an old, like,
well, no, it's not an
mom
old
type of, like,
it's serious.
you're gonna get.
I saw Andrew Huberman. I asked him about it. He said it's backed by science. Actually, I was talking to one of my friends, Marina, actually. Shout out Marina. She's a nursing major.
Mm-hmm.
I think I asked her about it or something. And she said, like, whatever, like, that's not going to happen. But she said, I don't think it's, like, good for your immune system to stay in, like, wet clothes or something.
I think for like a prolonged period of time, like if you're wet and cold for like hours, I think that's pretty bad. But I think being exposed to the cold is like, I've heard so many times, it's really good for your immune system.
But like, think about it. Like,
I'm pretty sure
I'm in the cold air. It's raining and I just have a shirt on and some shorts and I'm in there even like 20, 30 minutes. Like, you're going to get sick, you know? Like, you got to get sick.
We're going to look it up. I remember my friend Ruben's running coach too. He would always tell them like, dude, it's like an old wives' tale. Like, it's not true.
But the thing is too, it's like, it's not, sorry, not to cut you off, my bad, real quick. It's not, I always thought about it too. Like, okay, maybe you won't really get sick either. But I'm like, why would you, like, because, you know, I mostly heard it from my sisters telling their, like, husbands, like, put on a sweater before you get out. Like, you're going to go sick. Like, they would go do something real quick, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, maybe you're not going to get sick. But, like, wouldn't it be smart to just put on a sweater? Like, why would you want to be deliberately in the cold? Like, unless it's, you know, a cold shower. Like, you're just being stubborn and, like, uncomfortable. You know? They just don't want to get a sweater. Like, why would you want to do that? Like, why wouldn't you rather just be cozy? Like, you're not building anything.
Yeah.
Intently.
Like I said, I think the cold plunge and the cold shower is a very temporary thing, you know? I don't think it's the intent that matters. I think it's just like, okay, I'm going to do this, then I'm going to go warm up. You know, like, I'm going to put layers on and then get warm. And that's, I think, fine, you know? And I think it's that short burst where it's like it really...
But don't you think, like, if you had a kid that was, like, 6 years old and you just, like, let him out for a little bit in the cold, like, playing in the playground for, like, 15 minutes, and then you get him back inside. Like, you don't think he's going to get sick?
Fuck no.
I don't know, man. That's bad. Like, why wouldn't... You're going to
Why is that bad?
cover
Bro,
him
humans.
up. He's going to get sick.
Bro, for, like, millions of years, we've been fucking living in nature.
Yeah, but
where
think
it's
about,
cold
like,
as
now.
hell.
Think about now. Like, bro, like, I'm
Does it
sure in
grow
Mexico
softer
and
now?
I'm sure in Mexico and Guatemala where my genes come from, I wasn't really exposed to cold. It's like I'm not made for this shit. You know?
Pretty sure it still gets cold there.
Not as cold. Probably they fucking probably covered up.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
Like you don't see pictures of
I just
people in
think we're
Alaska.
meant to be like, bro, we're resilient. We're like in those conditions. You
Yeah,
know?
but we're so.
I think
weak
once you're
now.
sick, it's not good to be in the cold because your body's just working so much harder to keep you warm. But I think if you're healthy, like,
Okay, so if you had a
it's
kid
fine.
and he's like 6 years old,
Huh.
little boy,
Yeah.
Christopher the Junior, okay,
Mhm.
and you're with your wife or husband, whatever, and you want to take him.
Yeah.
You want to take him to play in the playground. What I just said,
Yeah.
right? And it's like 50 degrees outside, and all he has is a shirt and some pants and some sandals. You wouldn't change him before you take him out.
I would definitely change it before
Why?
because it's fucking cold and I don't want him to be miserable. But he's not gonna get sick.
I don't know. I mean, it kind of it kind of overlaps though. Like, right? Like, you know, you'd want to cover him up because you want him to be comfortable, but you also want to cover him up because you don't want him to get sick. He's just a kid.
No. I just don't want him to be. I want him to have fun. I don't want him to be like
Okay, what did
2
What did it
seconds.
say?
And he's like, I'm
What did it say?
cold.
And remember, whatever
Okay.
you read on the internet isn't always true.
See, yeah, exactly. I'm not looking at peer-reviewed studies here. I'm looking at American Heart Association. So,
Wow.
heart.org.
Hmm.
Let's see. And I Googled, just for reference, I put, does being cold make you sick? Nice and simple, right?
I guess.
Let's see, I'm going to scroll through fucking 5,000 ads. Most people have probably heard some variation of that parental plea while growing up or even directed such advice to their own children. It's a sensible request, though when it comes up to avoiding illness when temperatures dip, it's not quite so simple. It's multifactorial. Just given cold weather alone doesn't make you sick, said Dr. Virginia Banks of Northeast. Hold on, let me try to get to the point here. Sorry, guys. There is a simpler one up here. Let me fucking just read that. This is on nm.org. Healthy tips.
All of a sudden, you change the sources once it doesn't align,
It's,
right?
that was the second one that came up. I was thinking it'd be more in depth, but the first one is just, you know. It says low temperatures can increase the likelihood of getting sick. The body is not as effective at fighting a virus when cold air enters the nose and upper airways. I don't even want to look at you. So viruses such as the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19 often spread more easily in the winter. Can you get sick from being cold? Yes, but not in terms of a cold or the flu. This comes from frostbite or even hypothermia. If you get frostbite or hypothermia, this can weaken the immune system, which leaves you more at risk for getting illnesses such as the common cold or the flu.
I mean, both of those seem like the temperature determines
Let's
or
do
as a
this one. It
factor
says,
in illness.
does being cold lower your immune system? Some of this may have to do with a few infectious organisms like flu viruses thriving in colder temperatures, but there's also evidence that exposure to cold temperatures suppresses the immune system, so the opportunities for infection increase. That's interesting, you know?
That's real interesting. Let me see something real quick, too. I want to word in it. You keep talking.
Can you look at my search history?
Oh, God, no.
759222.
I'm not believing it.
It's fine. I swear to God, man, it doesn't get you sick. I just think, okay, but it is interesting if you think about like cold and flu season, because you can't deny there is a cold and flu season, and it's now like the winter, you know, and you do get the cold. But you get a cold in summer, you know, a little sore throat action,
But way less likely.
With you, fuck, you get sick like every 2 weeks. What are you fucking looking up? The fuck are you looking up?
Don't right.
What was
I
it?
couldn't word it right.
Let me look what he looked up.
I don't want you to. Doesn't matter.
He said, does being in the cold without a jacket get you sick?
No, I didn't. No, that wasn't mine. I went back so you couldn't see.
Let's look at the history. Cream pie.
Jesus.
Just kidding.
Coming on.
Can your kid get sick if they're out in the cold? If they are, okay, whatever.
All I heard is that
I bought an OnlyFans recently.
Chris,
I know.
I haven't been.
I know.
I deactivated everything.
I'm more responsible.
I've let
though.
everything expire for
I'm more
you.
responsible with money than you.
How much was it?
I think it's $15.
15. Okay.
I know.
well,
I could be cheaper, but it could be more expensive.
Could be more expensive. That's fine. Okay, who is it? We'll bleep it.
It's
Oh, that's a good one. Honestly, I mean, I've been there. I've done that. You know, I bought the DMs.
It's good. And I've bought DMs. And
Oh!
I'm even more ashamed of that.
Chris, how much have you done with
God.
that?
I don't know, but if I had to do the math, it's probably not that much. I'm pretty cheap, but I do get pissed sometimes because I'll buy a really cheap one, and I'm like so pissed because it's just like a photo. Like,
I would
you know?
never do that.
And I'm like, bro, I'm just cheating myself, you know?
Mhm.
And then I'll buy another one to make up for it. And that one's like $8 or $10, you know? If I had to guess, I'd say probably like $30 to like $50 total. I left the subscription on too, which is bad
Take it off
too,
right now.
you know?
Take it off tonight. You've seen it. You've enjoyed it. You've experienced it. She has a
Though.
boyfriend.
Like, I want to keep buying the messages. This is a bad thing because I bought them like in the past, like a long time ago. And honestly, I would just buy it for a month to see what it looked like. And then I would just cancel the subscription and not buy it again.
No, yeah, I used to do that too. And now I've become more of like, I enjoy this. You know, like your content's great. I like paying for it. It makes good. Like, you know, this is like equal
And
terms.
you get excited when they post something new. You
Yeah,
check it,
it's like a
every
timeline. It's like a
night.
new social media.
Yeah.
Like,
and
it's
then the
expensive.
DM, you like sit there like contemplating like, fuck, is this
Yeah,
worth
like
it?
the description. You're just hella trying to think like, what is?
And
in
it's bad
this?
because it's like every time I get paid, I think like I can afford like, you know, like one.
Yeah,
little
I think
thing.
one with a limit of one DM purchase a month should be like good. Because I feel like if you're already jerking off, you're already doing porn, you should be buying someone's porn at least, you know?
Yeah. You know what I was thinking? Like on a totally serious note, like 10 minutes before you got here, when we had that whole like fucking crazy growth with the foot people, we should have made like something like a foot thing. Like honestly, why didn't we do it? Like that could have been a come up of like a few $100s at least.
Yeah, a few hundred for sure.
Because
I think
we
even
had
now we can still do it.
Still, I think we still could do
I
it.
think we have a few followers that are still loyal, like
Yeah.
the people that comment.
And it's just like
Shout out you guys.
they see like this here and I'm sure they're like, oh, you know, like they like that. But imagine like them having a space where they can like, they're anonymous probably, you know, and they can ask like such specific requests and then we price that. You know, I'm like, oh, that's gonna be like $30, you know, for that. And they're gonna fucking pay it, you know, like, bro, you know how dudes are. We've done
think
it.
about it.
You know?
The people who have been loyal have seen us 50 podcasts.
Mhm.
Excuse me. And that's like a lot of built up.
Yeah.
You know?
You know how much
We
like,
could do anything for you. Anything.
Yeah.
Now's your chance for the right price. Just save up a little bit.
But like, I'm being 100% serious. Because before it was always like a joke, like, hey, would you ever do it? But now I'm like,
You want to get money, huh?
why aren't we? You know?
It's
We're
just-
buying a fucking camera. We're moving to San Diego. We need as much money. And I'm
It's the
blowing it on OnlyFans.
It's the
so
reputation, Chris. How are we going to walk into jiu-jitsu
cares
and be
at
like,
this
bro,
point?
these guys sell feet?
I'll be like, okay, I got $500 this week. What did you get?
What did you get?
You know?
Yeah.
Like, bro, I made $500 extra.
Don't touch it with your feet trying to convince me.
fucking 10 minutes, you know?
God, I don't know. We have to think about it, man.
Because and it is vulnerable, you know, because we probably want to say it at the beginning of like the next pod or
like,
something,
I
you know.
don't care, whatever, but it's just like, now it's just there forever. Digital footprint.
I think it's more
forever.
like people are going to be really interested when we see him at jiu-jitsu. And I hate that we care so much about jiu-jitsu and nothing else. Like, there's not another environment where we're like, what are these people going to think? It's only jiu-jitsu.
My friends,
you know?
I don't care. Maybe my family a little bit. They're pretty judgy, so
Yeah.
they'll find out. I'm like, guys, I just need the money. They're like, what are you willing to do for money? I'm like,
I don't really care. Like, you know, I mean, it is a little embarrassing. Like, however not progressive that might be, I'm a little embarrassed, you know, to like announce it. Like, hey, I got my feet finder or whatever the fuck.
gosh, we'd post about it and stuff and like advertise it.
I think we would just say it on the pod because I think all the feed dudes watch the pod. Like, and that's what's clutch, man. It's not even on Instagram.
Yeah, that might be clutch actually.
You
'cause
know?
we don't have to tell anyone.
Yeah. We'll do like a...
DM us if you would be interested, and if there's more than 10 people, we'll think about it.
I know you're watching, so let me know.
Not his name. Come on. We're bleeping
You
that.
could bleep it if you want. I've already fucking... I don't think I've ever name dropped him, but I've... Yeah, anyways.
All Should we call
Yeah,
it?
man. Yeah, we should call it.
All right. Hey, real quick, shout out. We're not there yet, but by the time we post, 600
Yep.
subscribers,
Biatch.
motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
600, bro. That's nuts.
Who you know? Who you know that got 600?
Who you know?
What I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
We're doing the damn thing. You know, you got your little fucking channel. You got your little channel you made like 2 years ago, and then you had all this motivation when you made it, and then you just gave up. But we're still fucking here.
Jeez, hey, that's a little hateful.
We're still fucking here.
I know you told your dad, hey, I mean something. I'm worth it. Now look at you.
I know one day you're watching the UFC fights with your friends, and you guys got the idea we should make a podcast. Oh, that'd be fucking sick if we made a podcast.
I always wanted to talk about it.
Oh, dude, we could tell that story. We could tell this story. We could tell that story. And you never fucking did it.
Yeah.
And we're fucking here. 49 goddamn episodes in. You know what I'm saying? 600 fucking subscribers in this fucking bitch.
That's nuts. Hey, if you are telling yourself that, if you are saying, wow, you know what? I did say that. I did say I wanted to start this, or I wanted to do that, or I wanted to continue this.
You should still do it.
Right now!
Do it.
Right now!
I feel bad because we're always like such advocates, which I am.
Yeah,
I just want to have my little
You're
moment.
just having
okay?
a little bit. Don't worry.
But do it, dude.
do it.
Look at us.
Look, it's only been a year.
Look at us.
It's a lot of fucking work and a lot of time. It's not easy.
Yeah, it ain't easy, and it's
And we
not
have
gonna
a
be
team.
easy.
Build a team that you care about. Have a team that pushes you.
Mm-hmm.
Sky's the fucking limit. If
Yeah.
you don't have a team, you don't have friends. There's plenty of people who've done it by themselves. So just
Yeah.
take a little longer. Prioritize it. But yeah, shout out. Thanks 600 people for subscribing. We're getting new subs every day. We appreciate it so much. We're almost at the 50 videos, 50 podcasts, excuse me, which is a big one. This one will be 49.
9.
Yep. Next week. Next week, we're actually going to have a guest that we hope you guys enjoy. Should we say his name just to say be safe? Or I'm pretty sure we'll have
fuck
him.
it.
It's going to be the owner, I believe, of VHS
VHS boys.
Boys. Sorry, I was thinking VHS tapes, but I was like, no, that's mixing it. VHS Boys, Wave Visuals, old coworker friend Dylan. Here's some of his stuff. Really cool art, really cool design, really good style, really cool like thought process. I'm really excited to have him on and kind of just dissect that and talk about his life and his experiences. He films a lot of music videos and stuff like that, and is in that scene as well. So that'll be our next guest for our 50th, which I think is pretty banging. That'll be really fun.
Also, we're gonna announce this probably on Instagram or like in the beginning of the next pod or something. But we're gonna do a giveaway.
Oh shit, we're announcing now, huh?
I mean,
Okay, we're not gonna give any specifics yet.
Yeah, we don't know when it's gonna be, but for 50 episodes, which is our next episode, damn, we're gonna do a giveaway.
Yeah. So expect that. The details really soon, but it's gonna be banging. All you motherfuckers are entering, especially the ones that are watching this late. I know you guys want it. I know you guys about it.
Free entry,
Yeah.
So that'd be great. Easy, and it'll be easy. But yeah, I don't know when the fuck it's gonna be. So it could be a month from now, 2 months, who knows? But it'll be for the 50. Just in remembrance of that. That momentous podcast. But anyways, more updates to come. Thanks for everything. Thanks for 600 subs. I'm sure we'll probably be there by the time this comes out. We lose like 5 subs. Thanks, you guys. Seriously, we love you. If you made it this far, you're the fucking best. And you're in like the 99th percentile of people who watch because, those analytics, they be not too flattering sometimes.
They be telling you the truth. They be spin on you.
Be humbling.
They be like, they watch for 40 seconds and then you just see the graph. Who stayed?
Yeah, but thanks, guys.
Love you
We
guys.
love you.
Stay
Cozy
cozy.
Meters. Peace. All right.
Nice. Cozy. Damn, I felt good, man.